Good to see you.
I think a week ago I did the first one, and
Yeah.
it's a conversation,
Oh, yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's like we're not trying to, teach anybody anything, so to speak. We're
Yeah.
just talking about what's going on in your world.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said.
Have
I'm
you
like,
seen him before?
I have, and then I was like, I was nervous, and then I'm like, no, and then I went shirt shopping, and then I bought a shirt.
You got the right shirt on.
And then you know what? Then I'm like, I'm not wearing any of these. None of these feel authentic, so I'm wearing this one today.
Right. I love it.
So that's the game plan, is to
Perfect.
wing it.
I like that.
So how's everybody been? Good?
Oh man, I think it's been, I think business seems to be rolling along, and
Yeah.
the weather's a little bit on the cool side yet.
Yeah.
But
Is this normal or is this not normal in terms of weather for this time of year?
It seems really wet.
Yeah, it does.
seems cool.
Everyone keeps complaining about how cold it is, but I'm always like, isn't June always kind of that way?
Well, I take like cooler weather over like last
So-
year
yeah, I don't
was
wanna
so
sweat.
hot. It was like 95 degrees, and it was like even my bangs were hot. I just couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Honestly, I am with you. I personally, if I'm given the option to have to put a sweater on,
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than be warm.
Yeah.
I don't want to sweat.
You can't take enough clothes off
Yeah.
when you're hot.
Yeah. All right, Dom, and I can just give you a signal for when it's time. You can grab me a cup of coffee in a minute or two.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Can you just talk? I'm trying to sync
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
audio.
Should this be moved over towards Greg a little further?
Yeah, a
Because
little
I've
bit.
got two mics right here. Whoop.
Good.
Okay.
So just talk.
Okay. Hey, Audrey.
What have you been up to?
Well, my family moved to the cottage.
What?
So, well, just temporarily, just for the cottage, just for the summer.
I'm like, didn't you
No.
just build the house? It's
Yeah.
like a whole
No,
thing.
so I kind of commute back and forth, and they
Nice.
stay up there, and so this is my first week without the family, which is weird.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. So I'm getting into fishing.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I went out and getting new lures. I'm
Yeah.
reading
Oh, yeah.
techniques, and I was talking to this guy who just was like, we have this little cottage we bought from my grandma, and the water's right there, and this guy, he's like, man, you got a little slice of heaven here, man. And I was like, hey, thanks. And 2 seconds later, he's like pulling a big old bass out of the lake,
Yeah.
right in front of my cottage, and I'm like, what are you? I'm just chatting. What are you fishing with? Because he's like,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like from here to
asking
there.
you, what are you
I'm like-
fishing with?
I go, what
'Cause
are you
I haven't
fishing
caught anything
with?
yet.
And he goes, this is just a drop shot with a worm. And I was like, oh, okay.
shot,
So I go Google
it,
I
like, what's a
drop
drop-
shot. And what a drop shot is you take a little sinker
Yeah.
with a hook on the end of it,
Yep.
like a loop, and you sink that one down. You basically adjust your depth whatever you want. You get in, and I know there's a bass down here, and I do a couple of, we're live, just talking about my drop shot, my bass that I caught this weekend. And sure enough, I pull this worm past they kind of gave me the technique, I pull the worm past the bass and boom.
Did you really?
Yeah, it just bites, boom. And then my daughter was like, I want a drop shot. Get me set up on a drop shot.
Well, I want a drop shot too.
So
Like,
I'll build you a
send
drop
me the-
shot. I'll make you a drop shot.
Awesome.
And then my daughter took her pole over to the marina, and 3
Yeah.
casts later, she caught a bass.
Oh, that's
So,
a great way to get.
yeah,
kids
so
to
we're
it.
just, we're kind of bonding with the kids
Good.
that we're fishing, and I'm excited about the summer.
That's a cool way to raise
So-
kids, is out there in nature, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
I grew up fishing, and now my kids are growing up fishing, so it's good.
That's a good thing.
So hello, everybody. We got Audrey Rynberg here.
Hello.
So Audrey is up in the Great North, north of the wall.
Yes, Newaygo County, up in Newaygo.
So Audrey, for those of the people watching who don't know you,
Yeah.
give us like the brief history of you and real estate. Like, where did you come from? How many years have you been in the business?
Okay, so got started in the business in 2003. It was, it was one of those things where I actually had lost my job. Best thing that ever happened to me. Lost my job, which I hated anyways.
There you go.
So lost my job, and somebody said, "Hey, why don't you give real estate a try?" And I was like, "Okay." So I go and try it, and meanwhile, like we're rubbing like 2 pennies together. Like we are flat broke. Like dumpster diving for 2x4s to heat our wood stove for our house
man.
broke.
Wow.
For real.
Yeah.
And this is back in 2003. Real estate was so different back then, right? Because you'd work floor, and you'd just wait for those calls to come in. And so I would take the calls at night, right?
There was no Facebook. There was no Zillow. There
No,
was
none of
no
that.
online lead gen.
Nope. And so I'm like, okay, forward the phone to my Nextel.
Yeah.
Remember Nextel?
Oh, yeah.
And so at that point I was working real estate in the day, and I was driving a semi at night. So I'd be
Really?
on my Nextel.
So you're like a truck. You drive truck. Is that right?
I am able to drive truck.
Okay. Nice.
So I'd be like, working
that's
at
amazing.
night, like shifting gears, and like my Nextel rings and be like, "This is Audrey." Like I like shifting through 16 gears and like working leads at the same time, setting up showings.
It's amazing.
So 2003, and so I've been at it since. So
just learned something new there.
So-
Wow.
Were you with big companies or small companies? And when did we meet you?
yeah, so I started off with a small firm in North Kent. So I did a lot of work up in like Rockford, Cedar, Sparta, Kent City. And I did that just because they were so close to my house. I wanted somebody, like literally I could just go and like grind it out and work floor, just be there every day. I wanted to be immersed in real estate. I wanted to hear, what are people doing? How are they talking? And I came up with my own vibe. And from there, I went to a bigger brokerage. It was Prudential at the time. So worked at Prudential with Jim Faze. Great bunch of folks over there. Had to take some time off for like 5 years, just for some health reasons. Came back, started with a smaller brokerage again, more of a family-owned brokerage, just because they had most of the market share up in my area, up in Newaygo. And I really believed in our community, and that was a big thing to me. So I wanted to really dive into that. And in 2016, no, it was like 2015, I just decided I wanted to be at a place that helped me achieve my goals. I wanted to run my business authentically. I just wanted to be me and just run it this way, and have opportunity to, have people help me with that. And so I Met with Jackie. Everybody knows that story. It's a great one. I'm sure Jackie will chime in. And I was a little high strung at that point, to say the least. And so y'all invited me to a ninja.
Is that so?
Ninja.
While you were still with the other company?
Yeah, I'm not even with you guys, and I'm at your ninja event.
Yeah.
So, but that's, and then at that point, late in the year, I decided that it was the right move for me. So,
Cool.
Okay. So, at that time, before you joined us, any idea how many homes you were selling a year at that point?
oh, I would say it was about round numbers, maybe 2 to 3 million,
Okay.
2.5 to 3.5, somewhere in
Okay.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
So
somewhere.
get by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting by,
Yeah.
making
Yep.
a good income, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
comfortable.
Yep.
So
Yep.
What did you do last year?
I have no idea.
You know?
Well, now your story, I mean, we can go there, but really, I think the more interesting part of your story is that you're kind of skyrocketed, as I recall. And
Something changed?
something,
Business
I don't
took
know
off?
what happened, but
Yeah,
all of a
something
sudden your
changed.
business doubled or tripled.
And there's a whole story behind that. Yep.
And then you decided you needed to back down a little bit again,
Yeah.
and that was that in 18 that you backed down?
That was that was late last summer
Okay.
that I decided that I need
So,
to change some things.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's back up then and go back to tell me what propelled or rocketed your business, and
Okay.
because it's like we have a lot of agents that I'm sure would love to see their business take off,
Yeah.
and yours did, and I just want to hear a little bit about, from your perspective, what you think took place.
Yeah.
And was there a mindset? Was it something physically you did?
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I can give you the real story.
Okay, well,
and
we-
nobody's ever heard it. So
Well,
this would be
okay.
like, stay tuned, grab your
Okay, I'm
popcorn.
excited to hear this.
All right.
Hold on. Wait for me.
It's absolutely real, and so I will share it with you.
Okay.
So
Let's go.
okay, 2015. I do the ninja event and I'm writing out all my goals. 2015 was actually the last year I ever made a goal for myself. That was it. I wrote down, and then the last goal I made for myself was during ninja. And I remember, you got to write that little letter out, to yourself, and you got to open it a year later. Well, I still haven't opened it. It's just not the right timing
Yeah.
for me. So this is what happened. Real deal story, and this is authentically Audrey. So 2015 happens, and I make the change over to 5-star, and I'm like, things are going great. I can just sense something's about to change. You can feel it in the air. I don't know if anybody's in tune with that, but so we move into the winter, and I'm just jacked up. But I just I'm just starting to experience some anxiety and stuff like that. And I don't know what that was all about. But what happened was a client neighbor of mine, just ended his life real tragically, and it shook me to my core.
Wow.
Couldn't even handle it.
Yeah.
Because his daughter was like a daughter to me, and it was just something that I just could not handle. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find somebody to fix me. And you walk into therapy and you're like, I need you to fix this. Not how therapy works. Therapy works with fixing everything that gets to that point. So the 3 years of 2016, 17, 18 were the hardest years of my life. Absolutely, tremendously the most difficult years I've ever been through. But I'm a believer, and God took the hardest years of my life and made something beautiful out of my business with it. So that's where it came from. And even in Europe, when people go through things like that, they think of it as more of a rebirthing, getting rid of the old and coming into the new. And I think that's what happened. I think it stripped back a lot of just here, and then you plug me into the right environment, and that's really the story of it. So a lot of personal work and being in the right environment, and then
We're not trained psychologists by any means here.
that's okay.
And but what's intriguing to me then is that there was a significant moment that kind of shook you to your core.
Yes.
And in that process, it did something to you,
Yeah.
which then caused your business to explode.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to go into that just a little bit
Sure.
more. So, I mean, you just didn't sit there and cross your arms and business started pouring in from all directions, or
Yeah.
maybe it did.
So a lot of, I think what happened, Greg, was just a lot of hardness and walled off sections of me just got stripped away.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you started getting more down to like my more authentic self, right? Just, so I'm just being me and doing the best I can possibly do. And honestly, business just came out of the woodwork. I can tell you, I went through Ninja. Ninja is a fabulous program. It's on all of the levels of, doing good business and serving people. And, it's got some spiritual background. I didn't do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
None of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot put my finger on where it came from other than during that time, my business was blessed more than anything I could wrap my head around.
Yeah.
And I just can't explain it.
All right, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep boring here.
Yeah, keep going.
So,
Let's do this.
Do I recall that, were you one of the early pioneers who did a video?
Well, Dustin did a video and I was really inspired by his video, and I'm like, what a great way to capture the essence of who you are.
Mm-hmm. Because
by
that's what
doing
you're
a video.
talking about right now. You're
Yeah.
talking about who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And we've always believed that who you are authentically is probably the most attractive thing about a person.
Yeah.
You got a Bob Marley shirt on right now, right?
Love Bob Marley.
When I first
One
met,
love.
but when I first met you, you were in a suit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was a suit. It was
What
a
was it?
skirt. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
was
it
it a
was a
skirt?
cute
Okay.
Jackie. I think it was a cute skirt because
With a suit coat.
I
Like a
may
sport coat?
I may
Okay.
have had a suit coat on.
Maybe.
I assure you it was not a blouse though. Not a blouse. I
But
have a T-shirt
you
on
looked
today.
ultra business pro.
I did, and that's what for me. That was you give the perfect exterior,
Yep.
and everybody thinks you've got everything together. And I didn't even know I was doing it. It was
Yeah.
perfectionism without knowing that
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was doing.
But and then I'm gonna keep going the way you're going
Yeah.
here. So at that time
Yeah.
though, you got shaken,
Yeah.
and you said,
To
"I'm
my
done
core.
being. I'm gonna be me." Somehow,
Yeah.
some way, maybe you didn't think that exact thought, but
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, you let those walls down.
Yeah, they were stripped down.
You let the
pretty much.
perfectionism
Yep.
go to
Yep.
the wayside,
Yeah.
and then you kind of came out.
Absolutely.
The true Audrey came forward.
Yep. I would say just about all of it came out. I mean, the last piece probably was last fall, and then now I'm just like,
And you've lived open.
Yeah.
Like you've lived a really open. I mean, even just following you on Facebook.
Yeah.
You share a lot of things. You become extremely
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable. I mean, well beyond just even being yourself. You're like kind of inspirational right now for people who would be going through similar struggles. You've almost championed the concept of like, you got this. You can do this. If I can get through this, you can get through what you're going through. Kind of a thing.
that helps me find purpose.
Yeah.
That helps me find purpose in my struggle, is if somebody else can, if it helps somebody else, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that was like the last component of like last summer, I was getting burnt out, you know what I mean? The business that I love, I was having a real hard time. And I felt like, parts of it weren't living authentically to myself. And, coming out and sharing some of our story, I think was a big part of it, because you're still trying to like overachieve and make up for a part of your life that you're not being super authentic in. And so now I'm just like over it. It is what it is. Here it is. If we still want to hang out and work together, great. This is me. I might show up in a Bob Marley shirt.
Which I'm sure no one's gonna be upset about it. They're gonna love it.
Back to the video.
Yeah.
Did I or did I not see you on like cross-country motorbikes with your husband going through trails? Was that on Facebook? Or
It was on
that-
Facebook. It wasn't on a video, but
wasn't
was
a video.
Yeah, riding
But
dirt
your
bikes.
video, what was the focus of the video that you did?
So it was just us enjoying our community, and because we've always believed on it, everybody thought we were crazy when we built so many houses up in our little Newego area. And we've always believed in it. We've always believed that it's something special. And we, we're walking in downtown and showing a few houses and then hanging out by the river, and hiking. We do a lot of hiking in the area. So it was.
I think I've seen you in boots in several pictures, either online or
Sure you have.
hiking boots. So.
I'm always, if I can get hiking boots on instead of heels.
Or in a
Yeah.
kayak.
It's all good. Yeah.
I've seen you in a kayak with a fishing pole, I think. Right?
That was probably this weekend.
Yeah.
So, and again, just for those listening in,
Yeah.
I'm listening, I'm going, okay, so what I'm seeing is that a person that was maybe trying to be something over here, and then you have a tragic event,
Yeah.
shakes you, you decide, I'm going to be who I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
And then you started communicating some of this, plus you're an ambassador for this area of Newaygo. And so to me, what I'm picking up on is when you're an ambassador, you're not talking about you. You're talking about something beyond you. And I think that is an attractor. And I think that if I were thinking about moving to the Newaygo area, or if I were considering some place where I was going to move outside of the city, I would be attracted to a person that was that ambassador, that was not selling but just sharing.
I think what comes through is that you're not talking about statistics or facts about
Which was something I might do. I might start to the population of Newaygo is this, and if we could just get a few more people, we could blah blah blah.
Statistics are great.
Yeah,
I don't even know my numbers. Like I have no idea
Yeah.
where.
What I see from you is actually like that the actual love of the area is really what comes out. And so I think, to back up what you just said, if you're looking for somebody to work with in an area, why not talk to someone who loves it as much as anybody?
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to know the ins and the outs, and this is a fantastic area. You get access to, whatever, all of the stuff.
Yeah, and I think for me, I feel really unauthentic if I am trying to do something and I'm doing it because I'm trying to get something from it. I'm just telling people about it.
No.
Even like if I volunteer and stuff, like I literally, if my heart's not right, I don't want to do it because it just changes my whole, the whole, what I'm putting out there.
So that brings up another area then. So, and I didn't even know about this, but as I just heard you say volunteer, I'm going, all right. And you don't have to describe everything you're doing, but clearly you're involved in this area of Newaygo. And again, you're not doing it because it's a calculated scheme to get business. You're doing it because you love it.
I would actually not do it if it was a calculated scheme. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's just me personally. I would feel awkward. I would feel awkward while I'm there trying to volunteer when I'm trying to get something.
And then they wouldn't see real Audrey either.
And then I'd be all nervous and anxious and hanging out by a wall or something.
You'd be like a politician shaking hands. And that's not what, but I mean that's what it would be like if you were trying to pushing this. I'm Audrey and wearing my 5-star tag or whatever.
I know exactly what you mean. You wouldn't even be your real self there. You would not be Audrey if that was what you were up to.
No, but if I'm just like, let's talk about cool things going on and what there is to do. Hey, what do you like to do? Oh my gosh, you would love this trail over here, or you should check out this. It's like my element of like I'm just sharing my passion for the area.
So really, as I look at this, when I think about myself, when I go someplace or if I'm going to go buy something, I don't want to be sold as much as I want to be educated. Yeah. And I want to have knowledge. And then I can make my own decision. And I've often said that if you were to see some of my early stuff in real estate, going back to the early 90s, I made a brochure, and in there I said, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to educate you so that you can make a good decision. Right. And you're not that calculated and maybe as I was back then, but the point that I keep hearing here is that it's this love of the area, which is attractive to other people, which draws people to you, and they want to be near you because you're likable, and we always talk about success in business is know, like, and trust. Yeah. And so I think probably as we and you're not trying to dissect it, it's more us trying to dissect your
Sure.
business for the audience.
Yeah.
And what I pick up on is that more people know you when you're involved, more people like you when you're involved because you're not trying to sell anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then because they know your heart is there, they're trusting. And I think that's an attractor. You know, Ninja talks about attracting people versus pursuing people, right? And even though you said you're not really implementing, you did hear that for 4 days, did you not?
Yeah.
At Ninja?
But I think you kind of live the ninja thing to a certain extent just naturally. You know, it's a sphere-based business. It's not as calculated as Ninja, where it's this many postcards
When
a
Ninja-
day, this number of contacts a week.
Yeah, when all of a sudden Audrey's kind of like joined our company and we don't really know who she is, and then all of a sudden we see her move up, and all of a sudden she's like in the top 20, and it's like, who is this girl?
It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Awesome.
really for us. It makes us very curious.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, like what's the secret? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing my best
Yeah.
and trying to do it authentically. You know, and even with social media, like the only time I'm putting something out there to get something is like actual house post. You
Yeah,
know,
listing.
everything else, like from the heart stuff or motivational stuff. Sometimes the motivational stuff is for me.
Yeah.
And maybe it will talk to somebody else. So everything I'm doing, for me, it's one of my core values is to do it authentically.
Question for you. One thing I've noticed you do on social media a lot is you always are including people in what you're up to. It's like, hey, does anyone want to grab tacos, or does anyone want to meet me for a coffee, or
Who
does
doesn't,
anyone want
who
to go
doesn't
for a
want to grab
hike?
tacos? I mean,
Does anyone want to go for a hike? How
Yeah.
often do people take you up on that?
a lot. Yeah, a lot. So whether it's people just wanting to hike or it's I've been doing more hiking and exercising just because it's part of our journey and I'm trying to get really healthy. And I kind of feel it as people being supportive, not just hanging out. Like, hey, if I can help you stay motivated and keep, working out in, towards your goal. It's like helping somebody in a long roundabout way. So it works out great. I mean, I'll have a bunch of my Jenison friends that I graduated with, we're trying to get like a bunch of girls up to go hiking and, just random people, just want to go hiking.
Have you ever had when you've posted this invitation
Yeah.
for someone to go hiking or grab a taco with you?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever surprised you and came out of the woodwork that you never thought would have reached out to say, yes, I want to grab a taco with you?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was the like? I guess I'm always curious. Like, what happens if some person that I already met twice is like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you for tacos today.
Right. Okay. Great story. Right. So it wasn't even about tacos.
Okay.
So we were working out. We did. We bought this house and it was a complete disaster. And we stripped it all the way down to like 2x4s and foundation. And we were putting it all back together. My husband's really talented, and so we were like in the midst of our renovation. And I think we were painting. And so just random post. I'm like, hey, we're at the river painting. Anybody want to stop by, say hi? Well, 30 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. And I'm
You're
like,
not thinking much of it.
And you're
at
like,
first.
I wasn't serious.
well, I kind of was, because I'm like, hoping somebody brings coffee, because we don't have anything there. I'm like, hope bring me a snack or something.
Yeah.
I get low sugar. I don't know. And so there's a knock at the door. And lo and behold, like, I open the door. I'm like, hey. Just like, mouth dropped. And I'm like, I wouldn't have been any more surprised if I woke up with my head sewn to the carpet. Like, so surprised, because I didn't even think this person liked me.
And they showed up.
I didn't even think we had an interaction, and it just, the vibe was wrong, and I'm like, it just didn't work out. I'm like, I don't even think they like me. Next thing you know, they show up at my door.
Ready to paint.
And I'm like, hey, girl. What's up? Which is cool, because you go around thinking this person's thinking this.
You've got your own
person-
narrative here.
Oh, you have no idea. And next thing you know, no, they do really like me. Actually, they send me a ton of real estate. I didn't think they even cared for me as a realtor.
That is very interesting. I would have never gone there, but now that you bring this up, I have multiple experiences throughout my 40 years in real estate where you're wondering, do I put those people on my contact list because it really didn't go
Oh, yeah.
as smoothly as I would have hoped.
Yeah.
And they were not happy with me at times,
Yeah.
as you just said. And then all of a sudden I get a referral one day from somebody, and they go,
Yeah.
yeah, so-and-so told me. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't think that person liked me enough to ever work with me again, let alone refer somebody else they knew. And so I think that we make, too often, we X people off the list.
Yeah.
And we should never X anybody off the list, so to speak.
Right.
And so great lesson for you and as well as myself.
Yeah.
Reminds me that we just can't check people off.
And you know, you used to always, Greg, when I was younger, this was a really, really great bit of advice I got along these lines, and this kind of concept is, you would say, be the first person to smile when you make eye contact with someone.
Oh, yeah.
Be the first one to flash the smile, and be the first one to reach out to shake someone's hand.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like extend that olive branch, because I've been there, Audrey, where I'm like, man, I think this person hates me. I don't know what I did wrong, but clearly they don't like me. And then, you know, you find out maybe that they were feeling like you were being a little standoffish.
Invite them to your house and see if they show up to paint.
Yeah.
We're gonna try Audrey's. Hey, I'm gonna be at the Glen. I'm gonna be at the Pepper Mill for breakfast this morning. See who shows up.
Okay, yeah.
Do it! Oh my
I mean-
gosh, do it! And we'll get down there, and then we'll videotape this.
All right,
It'll be
Greg,
great.
we're going to keep an eye on your Facebook post to make sure you do this.
They get
But
pretty crazy.
I was actually just always really curious if anyone took you up on it. I'm so glad to hear that they do.
Absolutely.
It's
Happens
so cool.
all the time.
And you know, I think, again, I'm not trying to like dissect it here.
Yeah.
But I think it says something about you that you're always open and willing to meet with whomever's willing to meet you for, you know what I mean? It's like you have an open seat. There's an open seat at the table with you always.
Yeah.
And they can meet you for coffee. They can meet you for, I think that just says a ton, and I think people can see that really clearly. And I think that's cool. I think that really, it's awesome. There's a direct line of open communication with Audrey. She'll meet you for coffee. She'll go for a hike with you.
Well, I appreciate that. That
Yeah.
means a lot to me that people would feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been like that. I mean, since high school, I never really had a clique. I just hung out with whoever, like the sport.
Really?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're all people.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want to hang out, great. You like hit me up, maybe
So,
grab a beer or something.
I'm curious. I just am always wondering about people. So, when you were younger, are you a competitive person by nature?
I would say that I have been in the past, but I'm not this year.
Yeah, sure. That's a mental decision.
I have been in the past. My biggest competitor, I will tell you, is myself. You know, it depends on how I'm, you know, what you say is competition. In life, am I competing with people? No, absolutely not. I think comparison can be a thief for sure.
Yeah.
So I just I compete with myself. Can I do better? Can I do this? Can I, you know, how can I do things differently? So I think that for me is has been one of my biggest motivations. But this year, I'm just not competing. I'm just doing things differently, and things that come my way as you know.
I don't know if everybody heard what you just said a second ago, but you said comparison is a thief.
I think so.
I want that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it can steal your joy awfully quickly when you start looking around and seeing what other people have versus you don't have, or what they're doing and you're not doing. You know, I think it can steal your joy from the accomplishments that you have made. So if you're always looking at other people versus how far you've come, yeah, I can see that being, you know, stealing your joy.
Is that the first time you ever said that, or is that something you've said before in life?
I've seen it probably in motivational things, but I believe it.
Yeah.
I very much believe it, you know.
Yeah, that's a great one.
So I think it's a slippery slope when you sit and start comparing yourself to everybody else. Just compare yourself.
I mean,
against
I think we all heard we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, but that was like 4 words, right? 4 words, and comparison
Can be a thief.
can be a thief. So 5 words,
Whatever Audrey said.
But anyways, it was very succinct, and it boiled it down real crisply, and I like that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are we doing on time?
I'm good, man. I'm
good?
feeling like we just.
Is there anything else that
Yeah.
you know when you think about that? You know, you think about what you've been through, and we're not, you didn't prepare like a speech or anything. I get that, but is there anything else that we haven't asked you that you thought maybe we would ask you?
I figured you'd probably ask me for some statistics, and then I was just gonna be like,
I don't know.
they give you like this list, and I'm like, I'm not
listen,
even gonna.
well,
It just
in
made me
true
more
Audrey
nervous.
fashion,
Like I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
And
I-
Paul, just so you know, before this thing started, Paul's like, "Don't do statistics, please."
Audrey is statistics, like eyes, glass. I mean,
Well,
it's
they're-
good to know your numbers. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. I wouldn't say there's anything that you guys, haven't asked me or that, that I thought you'd ask me. I think a lot of my blessings have come from, just the love of the community and being blessed, by God and being in the right environment and living my life authentically. So
Nice.
I think that's been some of the biggest game changers
Nice.
for me.
Now, do we have? Are there potentially questions, or would he let us?
He would probably flag us down, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But Audrey,
Mm-hmm.
you've always, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you've always been very open. If people need to talk, you're always willing, right?
Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions for you, they can
Yeah.
reach out, or if someone wants to grab a coffee with you or go for a hike.
Tacos. hiking.
Tacos. All right, yeah. So guys, I know Audrey. I've known you for 4 years now. Is it 4 or 5
Yeah,
years?
about 4 years. Yeah.
Anyways, and I know you. I know you to mean that when you meet with people and you're willing to talk to them about wherever they're at in their life. So
Absolutely.
it's been good. We've had some good talks. So
Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right. I'm
So
good.
thank you, Audrey.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have questions, you can reach out to Audrey or post them in the comments below, and we'll keep in touch.
Cool.
All right.
All right,
thank
Audrey.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Signing off. That was good.